New as of this morning, 6 players on their way to the LIV Golf Series, including the 2022 Open champion, Players champion, and winner of the Century Tournament of Champions, Cameron Smith. Now, these 6 players expected to compete at the LIV Golf Invitational Boston starting on Friday. Here are the players. The aforementioned Smith, who shot 64 to win the 150th Open just last month. Genesis Invitational champ Joaquin Niemann of Chile. 6-time PGA Tour winner Marc Leishman of Australia. Players Championship runner-up to Cameron Smith, Anirban Lahiri of India. 2022 Saudi International champion Harold Varner III, and the PGA Tour's leading money winner without a victory, Cameron Tringale. With more on this news, we welcome in Rex Hoggad on this Tuesday. Rex, we saw this coming. What stands out?
Yeah, as you pointed out, Damien, we've seen it coming. I guess the one thing that immediately comes to mind is Trevor Immelman, our colleague, how he's going to have to deal with these changes. Keep in mind, the President's Cup international captain was already dealing with many changes to his team, with Louis Oosthuizen, with Brendan Grace also going to LIV Golf. He was going to have to sort of make over his team anyway, but this puts him in an even worse position because you have 2 players, Marc Leishman and Cam Smith, who were among the automatic qualifiers. Now he has 2 extra captain's picks they'll have to burn that for. And then you would think, Joaquin Niemann is the automatic qualifier. Marc Leishman would have been one of his likely captain's picks. So it's going to be a much different team. You wonder how he's going to adjust so close to the matches. And I think the other part of this, and I'll go back 2 weeks to the BMW Championship in Delaware when Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy held that players-only meeting. I spoke with one player in that meeting. I was trying to get a handle of exactly who was in the room. Joaquin Niemann was in the room for that meeting. And what I was told is they were vetted very carefully about who was allowed in that room. They clearly had no anticipation of letting someone in that room, hearing their plans, hearing what they want to do going forward, who was going to LIV Golf. So they must have had some sort of understanding from Joaquin, or maybe a member of his team, that he was leaning away from this. So I'm sure this comes as a surprise as well to both Rory and Tiger.
Rex, where do we go from here, even outside of the confines of the President's Cup? Where is this story headed to next, do you think?
I just heard you guys talk about Paul McKinley going to be on the program in a little while to talk about the BMW Championship next week, as well as the Ryder Cup next year. And it'll have an immediate impact on that. We heard Rory McIlroy talk on Sunday about really not wanting to show up at Wentworth in 2 weeks and have to look. He said, referenced the 18 players, the 18 LIV players who will be in that field. He said he actually hated the idea that they were going to be there. Now, this morning, CEO of the DP World Tour, Keith Pelley, sent out a memo. He referenced what he called, quote, strong opposition to those 18 players being in that field, and he sort of laid out why they're allowed to be in this field. The European Tour regulations don't allow for the type of suspensions that the PGA Tour has been able to do to their players to keep them out of events. They also referenced a hearing. It will be in February of early next year, and that's when those full legal proceedings for the DP World Tour will happen. But until then, these players will not only be allowed to play in DP World Tour events, they'll be allowed to earn DP World Tour points towards next season. They'll also be allowed to earn Ryder Cup points. And so those are 3 big things to point out.